Finding the way, organizations building market positions where money and mandates failed. For a number of organizations, it is now structurally cheaper to solve problems affecting millions or billions of people than to leave them unsolved. The old aid architecture has exited. They are building the replacement. And yet, the most significant gaps remain open in 12 hard problem domains that, unlike much of the global economy, are still relatively uncontested. The economics of hard problems captures this shift. In domain after domain, the cost of a structural solution has fallen below the rising cost of the status quo because three things have changed. We can now price a single verified unit of change. Delivery costs have collapsed via digital rails, AI, and low-cost infrastructure. And capital can increasingly pay for results rather than inputs. That turns problems that once depended on money and mandates into investable market positions, learning, poverty, land rights, child survival, and neglected tropical diseases, and leaves a very specific set of open work for this decade, building the financing, governance, government adoption, geographic, and political economy structures that let those economics actually run at scale. The Soft Power Index calls the threshold where this becomes true the crossover point, the moment the unit economics of a solution beat the compounded cost of not acting. Beyond it, persisting with the old model is financially irrational. Organizations that have crossed share three features: a verified outcome unit, a model that holds without exceptional conditions, and assets the system cannot easily replicate: data sets, trust architectures, and operating systems that compound over time. The Pathfinder track maps those crossings now, 27 organizations across 12 domains that pass most, but not all, of the index's filters. DNDI, from R&D scarcity to structural independence. DNDI has built what commercial pharma will not: a full R&D pipeline for neglected tropical diseases that affect over 1 billion people and generate no commercial return. Its outcome unit is a new or repurposed treatment bought through a WHO-endorsed pipeline for a disease that otherwise would not attract R&D. AI-assisted drug repurposing has slashed the time and cost of early discovery, so the marginal cost of developing NTD treatments is now converging with commercial pharma economics for patients who were previously excluded. The gap is no longer science, it is financial architecture. DNDI remains grant-funded and exposed to shocks like the USAID cuts, which makes as much as needed for as long as needed commitments impossible. Our world in data, endowing the global evidence commons. Our world in data is a global evidence commons, a place where policymakers, journalists, scientists, and students in 190 plus countries see the same numbers on health, climate, poverty, and more. Its outcome unit is a high integrity, open, accessible indicator that decision makers can rely on. The cost of running that commons is tiny compared to the cost of misinformation, policy whiplash, and duplicated data infrastructure. When USAID cut funding for the demographic and health surveys, our world in data's dependence on fragile inputs was exposed at the exact moment GiveWell and others learned on SGDG tracker for verification. The gap is not usefulness on demand, it is the absence of a dedicated endowment to secure long-term independence. One Acre Fund, the cost of donor dependency. One Acre Fund has built the most documented operating system for smallholder finance and productivity in the world, serving millions of farmers. Its outcome unit is a farmer completing a full bundle cycle: inputs, credit, training, and market access, with documented yield and income gains in the first season. A bundle contract that aligns inputs, credit, and training produces food at lower cost than fragmented subsidy programs, with yields of 40 to 50%. And repayment rates above 95% across multiple countries and climate shocks. Yet after USAID's collapse in May 2026, One Acre Fund announced proposed redundancies for over 1,700 staff, which is 47% of its Kenya workforce, even as it reached 5.9 million households and delivered roughly $600 million in annual impact. The economics work, the architecture does not. Soil, pricing a public good in a fragile state. In Haiti, soil has priced something the sector long treated as unpriceable: safety managed sanitation in a fragile state. Its container-based model delivers toilets, waste collection, and composting at a verified cost per connected household, backed first by an outcomes contract with IDB Lab, and then by the world's first government results-based contract for container-based sanitation with Haiti's DIN EPA. The program has survived political collapse, gang-controlled supply routes, and the USAID shock while meeting or exceeding its outcome targets. The economics of Cross, the gap is financial architecture and government adoption depth. A dedicated budget line in Haiti's WASH plan and a second government commissioning the model from a local partner would convert a fragile proof into a replicable template. Building the mission in the market. Across the 27 pathfinders, the pattern repeats. Solving is now cheaper than not solving. The remaining work is architecture. The structural shifts of 2026 show hard problems affecting millions or billions of people worsening, even as the economics of solving them improve. For capital allocators, builders, and strategic partners, the question is who will close those gaps, and as a result, claim durable positions in the hardest problems and the largest global market opportunities of this decade. In doing so, they will build the market in the mission.